morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Wednesday, August 16th, 2017. I am Dave Biddle, and I'm joined by the people's champ, Matt Baxendell. Back so far, 5 true freshmen have had their black stripe removed. Running back J.K. Dobbins, defensive end Chase Young, safety Isaiah Pryor, corner Jeffrey Okudah, defensive tackle Haskell Garrett. It's safe to say all 5 of those guys are going to play this year in some form or fashion. Other than Dobbins, do you see any of those guys having a big role this year, though?
Big role? No. But am I surprised that those 5 of their black stripes off first? No. Those are 5 guys who were essentially 5-star caliber players for most of last year. Right on that periphery if they weren't true 5-stars, right? And let's be honest here. This is Ohio State. And what position are 2 of those guys? They're defensive linemen. And every single frickin' year, Ohio State has at least one freshman defensive line that comes out and plays a lot more than you expect. The Nick Bosa's, Johnny Simon, Big Hay, Michael Bennett. We could go for a while. Nick Bosa, I talked about Joey Bosa as a freshman too, right? So every year, at least one true freshman at Ohio State from the D-line comes out and plays way more than you think. Heck, going back to Tommy Shutt even played a ton his freshman year. You know, for all that happened in his career afterwards, he was a starter 3 times as a freshman. Ohio State always plays freshmen on the D-line. You can't say that about other positions, but you can say it about the D-line at OSU. That has been a consistent thing for a decade now. So I'm not surprised that 2 borderline 5-star defensive linemen under Larry Johnson's coaching arrive on campus and are immediately ready to play. But of the 5, clearly J.K. Dobbins looks like he's going to be the impact guy. He's a guy right now that, hey, guess what he is? He's the number 1 pass catcher out of the backfield. And this OSU offense works a lot better when a guy can catch the ball coming out of the backfield. We saw that with Zeke. So I think at this point you have to say maybe Dobbins is the only one who's going to play a huge role, but you have a lot of guys who are going to be involved in special teams, and maybe you may see one of those D linemen in the 2 deep, probably the 3 deep because the D line is that deep. But in the end, those guys are going to play, and it's a great sign for the future that some of your most highly touted guys are coming on campus and already looking the part. What did Cooper say? If a puck's going to bite, he's going to bite young. And while John Cooper didn't do a lot of things great, that was one of the things he's dead right on.
A lot of good Cooperisms out there, man. They don't catch up to you till it catches up with you. They want to gamble, but they want to gamble with my chips. And yeah, if a dog's going to bite, it's going to bite as a pup. And hey, some guys passed the look test. We could just keep going with Cooperisms. Again, taking Dobbins out of the mix, who are you most excited to see out of this freshman group?
Oh, most excited to see? I don't think any question is Chase Young. The guy's a physical freak. He runs on campus looking like a ready-made NFL player. You know, this is Ohio State where this year especially, the defensive end position is insanely loaded with talent. I mean, you have guys like Jalen Holmes who aren't technically starters that are going to be drafted, you know? So a guy like Chase Young coming in and making an impact like he has, it's a very impressive thing to me that everybody talks about J.K. Dobbins, and then the next freshman they talk about is Chase Young. So it's a really good sign when the hyped kids are doing what they're doing. And if Chase Young breaks into this defensive end rotation, that's one of the more impressive freshmen breaking into play maneuvers I've seen in a long time, because when guys like John Simon or even the older of the Bosas broke into the defensive line, the D-end depth wasn't sterling. You didn't have any superstar guys. You look at the DNs you already have on hand with Typhon and Bosa and Hubbard and Holmes. If he plays with those guys on the field a lot, that's impressive.
What other true freshmen do you think will play this year, other than those 5 guys?
Well, we can't count Crispin, can we? Even though he gray-shirted, right? So I have to think that you're going to see Shaun Wade on the field, though. You know, and people keep forgetting about Marcus Williamson. One of those 2 guys is going to be pretty involved in special teams. And, you know, it's amazing Williamson's a top 10 corner nationally, and nobody's even talking about him, right? So one of those 2 guys, and you're getting some discussion about Shaun Wade, but not as much because Okudah and Pryor are getting all the young love from the defensive backs. But I have to think that maybe Wade won't play in the basic defensive set, but you got to think he's going to be involved in special teams. He's one of those kids that's too talented to redshirt because you know he's going to step on the field and pull a Lattimore in a year or 2 with his pedigree and his talent. So I think Wade's definitely going to play this year. I'd be very surprised if he didn't. And then other than that, I mean, I'm interested to see Jalen Harris. There's been a little bit of talk about Jalen Harris. You know, you've got the 6 guys we think are going to play. Urban loves to play as many receivers as he can. And I tell you what, Harris has some size to him. And if, as much as I like to talk about Benjamin Victor, we've got to see him do it on the field finally, right? Like, I was all excited because we had Ben Victor and Torrance Gibson as our big receivers, right? Those 6'4" guys who could go up and bring down the fade passes in the end zone, right? Well, if Victor's not going to do that this year, the next up guy in terms of size is Harris. So don't sleep on him just yet, because I think he could play a role this year still.
Ryan Day, I'm very impressed with him. I walk away after interviewing him thinking like, man, I just learned a lot right there. And I feel like he's a future head coach. I know you were, I don't want to say skeptical. Maybe you weren't ready to like lead the parade about Ryan Day was a great quarterback / co-offensive coordinator hire when and see. And I know the season hasn't started yet, but are you starting to come around back? Are you a Ryan Day fan now?
I'm a Ryan Day fan because he's better than whatever we had before by default, because I don't think you can get worse coaching at the quarterback position based on the resume of the players he's coached than Tim Beck.
I was going to say, that's a low bar, though, when you're talking about better than Tim Beck. I mean, I think he's like, pole vaulted over that bar. I mean, I think he's really, really good.
You don't need a pole to vault over that bar. My 10-month-old daughter who can barely walk could jump over that bar. This is the guy who's got Taylor Martinez throwing off his back foot, throwing across his body 25 yards downfield, had good form. So anybody's a better coach than that. But to Ryan Day's credit, instead of just saying he's better than a negative number, let's talk about actually how much of a positive he is towards JT Barrett. One, he's actively correcting JT in practice. People have observed this. One of the biggest issues that we all had with JT last year was it felt like JT's footwork was going away. Part of a good coach is being able to take a player, even one who's established as JT Barrett, and actually make him better. Well, guess what? That's what Tom Herman did. And guess what? That looks like initially what we're seeing from Ryan Day. That's a great sign. Not to mention Ryan Day also seems to actually know something about passing concepts, which is going to go hand in hand with Kevin Wilson, who just happens to be one of the best passing game coordinators in the country. So yeah, I like Ryan Day. He's actually making JT a better player instead of resting on his laurels and hoping everything goes okay by calling 16 different option plays.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I think he's the future offensive coordinator at Ohio State after Kevin Wilson leaves, and I think Kevin Wilson's going to stay at least 2 years. Not that there's any danger of him leaving after just 1 year. I think he's going to stay for 2 years at least, maybe 3 years at most. It's going to be either 2 or 3 years for Kevin Wilson. He's just too good. And I think Ryan Day is going to be the offensive coordinator of the future at Ohio State and will be a future college head coach. And who knows, maybe if he goes somewhere and does well as a college head coach, he could be in the running one day to be Ohio State's future head coach. That's how I'm getting ahead of myself. That's how impressed I am with this guy. He's got the chops, and I think he's going to do very well. A couple more topics, we'll get you out of here. At right guard, a lot of information has started to slowly leak out here and there. What's your latest prediction on who's going to be the starter at right guard for the Buckeyes?
Sure looks like Malcolm Pridgeon, doesn't it? I mean, seems like everybody who comes in out of the practice is the same. Malcolm Pridgeon running with the ones. Malcolm Pridgeon running with the ones. Now, let's be real honest here, too. He's a junior college kid. A lot of us thought he was in the running to replace Isaiah Prince last year before he got hurt in the early part of camp, right? Or I think it was maybe before camp Prince got hurt. But he didn't come to Ohio State to sit on the bench. He has 2 years of eligibility left, right? Well, guess what? He needs to play if he's going to do anything with himself this career. So you knew he came in motivated. So right now, it looks like Pridgeon, and I'm perfectly fine with it being Pridgeon because guess what? He's gigantic. You know how big this OSU O-line is this year, by the way? If Pridgeon ends up starting, like, the shortest one on the line is going to be, like, Billy Price, maybe? I mean, Jamarco Jones at left tackle, maybe? And he's 6'5". I think both of them are 6'4", 6'5", right? This is a giant line.
Billy Price is listed at 6'4". Yeah, Billy Price is listed at 6'4". And he's huge for a center at 6'4", 315. He's and Jamarco Jones, 6'5", 310. One of those guys.
Remember Jacoby Boren? He was like 6'1" and 270 in reality, I mean, that's such a difference from the size of that really great O-line that OSU had the year they won the title. I mean, your center was Jacoby Boren, and, like I said, he was what, in reality, 6'1", 270? Maybe 6'2" will be nice. So, I mean, this is such a bigger line. And JT is not a small guy, so it's not like he's not going to be able to see over this group. You have to think that with all the muscle up front there, that's a really good thing for the Buckeyes. And, hey, Pridgeon came as a tackle, but what's Dwayne Long's theory on playing offensive line? If you can't play tackle, you can probably play guard. But if you can play tackle, you can definitely play guard. So, hey, if Pridgeon's a starting right guard, I'm going to feel good about it. He's older, he's experienced, and I don't think he'll let things get to him. And after seeing last year's Fiesta Bowl disaster, I don't really I was not predisposed towards seeing Demetrius Knox go out and play. And from everything we heard about not getting it together off the field, I'm okay with Pridgeon taking over, and I'll be interested to see how Matthew Burrell does.
A very important topic here. Urban Meyer's been, growing that little scruff during training camp. Has that, even more of a hard-ass look. I love it. And, I know a lot of Buckeye fans are like, is he going to keep it? And, I know Shelly Meyer's not a fan of it. I put a poll up on Twitter, and it closed last night. We had, around 1,600 votes, and Buckeye Nation has spoken. The poll was simple. Should Urban Meyer keep the scruff, yes or no? We had about 62% that said yes, and 38% that said no. I mean, that says it all right there. I know Shelly's not a fan of this. I even tagged her in this at No One Tell at Spinner Shells about this and had a little fun with that. But, Bax, this is a no-brainer to me. I think Urban needs to keep the scruff.
You want to know my opinion on it? Is that Urban looks like some gravedigger murderer with that beard on? Like you put him in like a hooded sweatshirt and like a tassel cap and some gloves and stuff, and he'll show up and beat you with a shovel, right? That's scary looking, man. And that's a great thing for intimidation, right? I like it too, but guess what? Guess what? Urban may be the boss of Buckeye Nation. Shelly Meyer is the boss of Urban Meyer's house. He's not going to have that beard much longer. No way.
It doesn't have to be a beard. She was talking about how, it doesn't grow in near the cheeks and stuff. I just said that's why I kept it at scruff. We can go with the goatee.
No. There's only one facial hair he can have, Dave. There's only one facial hair that's going to be acceptable. Let's bring back the Dirty's 80 mustache. You give me Urban and the Dirty's 80 mustache with the salt and pepper, we'll do that. Urban and the Dirty stash of 8 we can talk Shelly into once, because she's already lived with that. She's already had pictures of her standing next to the guy with the dirty mustache. But the beard and everything, if you look back to Urban's career, he's always clean shaven, right? So I don't think the beard's going to hold up. But we could pull off the mustache. I think we need to talk Shelly into letting him keep the mustache, because that would be the most glorious 80s stash history. And now, it would be taking the mantle from Purdue, but like all things in football, Ohio State's better than Purdue. So let's have Urban grow the stash. We need to keep it.
I just feel like Buckeye Nation has spoken here. 62%. Buckeye Nation, come on now. You're going to go against what Buckeye Nation wants. Just because Shelly wants her husband clean-shaven. Whatever. We'll see what happens, but you're probably right. Shelly will probably get her way there. And
Shelly's going to win.
Matt Baxendell's approval rating is way over 62%. Really appreciate your time. He is the people's champ. Matt Baxendell, you can read his column every Sunday on Bucknuts. It is the bucket, so thank you very much, my friend, and thanks to all listeners out there for tuning in to the show. I appreciate it. Hope you have a great day. Let's hear that Buckeye swag, best damn band in the land.